Welcome back, everybody, to another live stream here on the channel with a very special guest, Jared from Guns and Gadgets. Who you guys, if you've been following the channel, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that Jared and I go back a few years now. Had him on the podcast when I was with Classic Firearms, had him on the CF podcast there, and it's always just been an absolute privilege to talk with him. He is your premier source for Second Amendment guns, Second Amendment news, of course. And I just want to say also a big shout out and thank you to all of you guys that continue to support the channel, that help out with the super chats and everything. As many of you know, I've been saving up for nods. I've got horses. I'm getting a tractor this week because I'm embracing the homesteading ranch life with my wife. So yeah, if you guys want to help out, feel free to do so and help me help you with discounts down in the description as well. There's discounts galore there. And yeah, that's really about that. Also, I do realize that I forgot last time when I closed out the stream kind of quickly because the kids were going crazy. I forgot to check my super chats at the end of that stream. And one of you mentioned Top Shelf Gamer, I think it was. One of you asked about you want to get a silencer, but you're afraid of the ATF just coming and knocking on your door at any point in time because you feel like you've signed your rights away or something like that by getting an NFA item. And I want to say that's not true. All right, that's not true. I have many silencers, many NFA items. Not once has that ever been an issue for me. FFLs can expect at any point in time for the ATF to show up and do an audit of the bound book. That is something that every FFL that's legitimate should know that is going to happen. Not an if, but when, for sure. And I've been a party to several of those audits for working for different, Classic Firearms, like different FFLs, one in a sense. And then, of course, my homies up here close to me, Monadnock Firearms, right? So they've gone through that as well. And some ATF agents are cool. You know, I can't believe I just said that. I know it's crazy, but you know, it is what it is. So don't be afraid of that. I totally understand not wanting to go through all the paperwork and everything else, which is why you should become a member of Gun Owners of America today, because we are actively fighting to restore and defend the Second Amendment, which means getting rid of things like, oh, I don't know, the National Firearms Act that makes you go through all that type of crap. So become a member today. All right. Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and welcome to talk about what the hell Glock is doing. Let's go ahead and welcome my friend Jared from Guns and Gadgets. Jared, it's good to see you, man. You know, I kind of like that view better. I'm going to do that view.
What's going on, man? How you been?
Man, I have been good. It's starting to get a little bit cooler up here in New England, which I'm sure you miss, right?
Not one bit.
For those of you that don't know, Jared comes from a tyrannical state, moved to a free state, and I'm sure you're hating every second of it, right?
Brother, you should try moving back to America. It's beautiful this time of year.
Bro, all right, hold on. Time out. Wait a minute. New Hampshire is the one exception. You got to admit.
Every 2 years it changes. Every 2 years it changes.
Yeah, but I mean, we're still essentially tax-free. Don't ask me about property taxes, though, because we have a thing called a view tax. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but we are also the most gun-friendly state, the safest state in the union. I mean, think about that, right? You know, I mean, we've got our advantages.
Yeah, you do. And, you know, I don't miss measuring my snowstorms in feet. I don't miss single digits and negatives in the wind chill. If I never see that again, it'll be too soon, man. So
that's fair. That's fair.
I'll take freedom and gun rights here in Tennessee in the mountains any day.
That's completely fair, brother. And that's one of the reasons I'm getting a tractor. All right. Team Kubota over here, because I can't afford a John Deere, but, I am looking forward to mucking out the horse stalls. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but I'm looking forward to just dumping that into a bucket instead of a wheelbarrow. And then when I am starting to trench through feet of snow, I'm doing that on a 4x4 tractor instead of on a wheelbarrow, you know?
Nice.
So yeah, you know, whatever. The snow's still a novelty to a Southern boy like me, but all right. All right, let's go ahead and roll into the subject matter here. Chat, also, don't feel like we're abandoning you tonight. You guys already know that I love interacting and talking with all of you. We'll answer your questions. And if you're going to say stupid stuff, we'll probably call you out on it. All right. So I think you got two individuals here that aren't afraid of the fight. All right. Just throwing that out there. But I will say, Rent Collector, greatly appreciate your comment. Like Jared showed, just facts, no BS politics, no Qatari money influencing him. No, it's so funny how so many people are like Team Israel, Team Qatar, and I'm like, how about Team America? I'd appreciate that. But
Yeah, man, that's all that matters to me is our country.
yeah, exactly, dude. And then Rent Collector, I think you may have gone the wrong direction on this one situation with Sarita Morales, F anti-gunner state. I think she's saying screw anti-gun states. But Rent Collector, I'm not going to put your comment up right there. It's a little too early to get that spicy. But you said some things that I think might have been, let's say, miscommunicated here. All right. So we'll go through that. Country Bear Assassin, appreciate you as well. And for those of you too saw the super chat goal, if we get that goal reached, we'll do another live stream on Rumble and we'll do another Bust Your Builds. Jared, what I like to do on the channel, which I haven't done in a while because YouTube's a little funny, is I will have the audience that are comfortable with it email in their builds, and then me and the audience will actually rate their builds. And some of these guys have some really cool stuff. Some of these guys get tore to shreds. All right.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to be a part of that, man, let me know.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
All right. All right. So let's go ahead and hop into this really quick, guys, because as many of you know, Glock has seems like they've just out of nowhere discontinued a majority of their models, a lot of their flagship lineup. And just to kind of show that off, here's this here. So the Glock V series, is that now, Jared, is this a V or a 5 series? I think it's just a V series. I don't know.
Glock hasn't, while they have given us a little bit of info, they haven't said what the V stands for. Many people think it's 5, but they already had a Gen 5. So I don't know. We'll see. But whatever it is, I'm sure it's perfection.
Because how many generations of perfection do you need?
Yeah, right.
Right. All right. Okay. So this V series, whatever it is, it looks like it's, a majority of their already very popular models that are coming out that I guess are in response to what we are seeing from like this one article I found from the Desert Sun out in California. It's ultimately saying rumors spread after California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a law October 10 banning new sales of semi-automatic handguns that can be easily converted to a fully automatic machine gun. I love that terminology, fully automatic machine gun, as if how many times are you going to say fully auto, with the use of a simple switch. So again, just look at the terminology in this one, a semi-automatic that can be easily converted, use of a simple switch, or again, just the terminology. They're just trying to be like, oh my God, machine guns are so bad. Never mind the criminals that are using them. Let's see here. So here we go. That includes handguns manufactured by Glock and other manufacturers that use a cruciform trigger bar, which lawmakers said makes them easily convertible to fully automatic fire. Exemptions are included for who? Law enforcement.
Of course.
So of course. All right. So here they are. And you shared with me too Glock's official statement, which we can go ahead and show that really quick if it will allow me to show it. There we go. So Glock's official statement. Can I zoom in on this so it's a little bit easier for everybody to see? Oh, look at that. Hey, Mac coming in for the win sometimes. All right. So yesterday, a retailer not affiliated with Glock Inc. made premature statements concerning the availability of certain Glock pistols. The individuals making these representations are not authorized to speak for Glock. As part of Glock's commitment to future innovations, we are making making necessary updates to our product line to align with upcoming offerings. Our dedication continues to be with maintaining the highest level of quality, reliability, and accessibility that you expect from Glock. The Glock V series is here to establish a baseline of products while simplifying our processes. So there's your commercial models that are now included in this V series. So Jared, what's your take on all this, man?
Well, I think it's a lot of things that happened for Glock. I think if we're being honest, it takes a long time and a lot of money to retool stuff, right? So this has been in the works for a while. You just can't redesign a pistol because Gavin Newsom's coming after you. I've been reporting, and you know too, you're in the industry for years. I mean, everybody who's anybody that's a blue state or anti-gun has been suing Glock, from like 18 to 19 different states to different groups to you name it. Everybody wants to sue Glock out of business because criminals will automatically follow the law. If we pass another law, if we ban something else, criminals will then come to Jesus and no longer be criminals. It's just they are the target, right? And I think maybe the timing is skeptical, but it happened right after the Newsom ban went into effect, and a couple states launched some major lawsuits after the Glocks, the proliferation of the Glock switch. Anybody who knows how to work on guns, man, yourself included, you can spend a few minutes with any gun on the planet and make it full auto. So it's not like this is something that's brand new and something that only Glocks are affected by. But the liberals are idiots, and the sheep will follow whatever they're told.
Yeah, and all right, so let me try to play devil's advocate here for Glock, right? Multi-million billion. It's probably safe to say multi-billion-dollar company with contracts all over the world. Probably want to preserve those contracts. Probably doesn't want to, I guess you could say, step on any toes. They want everybody to be kind of like, okay, all right, and try to make everybody happy. Um, it is actually kind of hard for me to play devil's advocate here because it does seem like, all right, you've made a quality product, you have been for decades. It's not their fault that somebody is circumventing or bypassing the law on multiple fronts by
Right.
purchasing the item, installing the item, and then using the item illegally in
Right.
most cases, if not all the time. And so why should that be any different for like car manufacturers or anything else? It's kind of crazy to me that Glock is willing to go this direction. And again, and to your point, these laws already exist. And man, I feel like we preach to the choir and and we say this thing repetitively, and it's just ridiculous that we have to say criminals don't obey the law. That is why they are
You're kidding me.
criminals. Yeah, dude. It's just it's driving me nuts, man. And now it's no secret, obviously, that I'm chairperson for 2A Defenders, which is Gun Owners of America's Gun Owners Foundation's student outreach program. And I have interviews. I talk with students all the time. And what's cool about that is it's like traditionally like very left wing colleges, which is like most of them.
Yep.
I'm getting interviews from students that are like that are actually interested in hearing a difference of opinion. So that's really cool. But I I bring that up to kind of say like I'm just getting like it almost burnt out of having to say the same old things over and over again, the same talking points, and they oftentimes can't be argued, which is why we continue to use said talking points. Um, but what do we do, man? Like, how do we say to some of these manufacturers too that are like, wow, let's say the entire state of California no longer wants to use a Glock pistol as their service pistol, which, by the way, with how things are going for SIG, I don't think Glock has to be too concerned.
No.
But yeah, at the same time, it's like, okay, let's say the entire state of California boycotts Glock as far as law enforcement agency and everything else like that. What does that do to their budget? I mean, honestly, it's like, I can't imagine, you know?
Well, I mean, it'll take a chunk out of it because a vast majority of law enforcement uses Glock, but it's not something that can't be overcome. You know, as a gun owner, as an advocate, as an activist for the Second Amendment, I would love for companies to stay in the entire time and fight it all the way to the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also a business owner, and I have to play devil's advocate here, right?
Yeah.
If you run a multi-billion-dollar global company, your best interest is probably to your shareholders and to make sure that your employees still have jobs, and that you as a business owner, Catherine Glock doesn't want to give up the job, I'm sure. So you have to do what's best for the company, and
Yeah.
and as a global company that's based in Austria, yeah, they're in Georgia as well, but their probably main concern is about them, not the United States of America when
Sure.
they're a global company. You know, we hate that, and I'm sure there's people typing away that, rah, what are you talking about? But like, let's
Yeah.
be real here. It's Glock is worried about Glock. Glock's not worried
Mhm.
about California. Glock's not worried about Massachusetts. You know, in a perfect world, they would be. In a perfect world, all the firearms companies and manufacturers would team together, and we'd have one, you know, ball of wax going in, ready to just destroy the anti-gunners. But that's not the case, you know. And I
Yeah.
think that's a pipe dream that we will never obtain. But Glock had to do what Glock had to do to probably keep Glock alive, because they were coming for them. You had,
Mhm.
I just made a quick couple notes, man. You had the following lawsuits that they're dealing with: California, Seattle, um, you had Chicago, New York, Mexico, Maryland, Baltimore, the city, Minnesota, New Jersey, California, I said, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Washington, D.C., Hawaii, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Nevada, Oregon, Rhode Island, and Vermont. They're all suing Glock. So Glock probably had to worry about Glock and make a
Yeah.
change. Glock didn't invent the Glock switch. You know, they don't sell the Glock switch. They never have. They didn't design the pistol for the Glock switch. The Glock switch came years later,
Right.
but they got the bad rap, and it's the easy target. And, you know, sheeple will just follow whatever the shepherd says, and people in this, in just people in general, man, they respond off of feelings and emotions rather than thinking things out. So
Mhm.
Glock's an easy target, and they probably had to make moves that would make sure that Glock was still a business going forward.
Yeah, yeah, it totally makes sense. And then, I think about things too. Like, I know for a while there, different manufacturers of like ARs even were getting called out for having a high shelf versus a low shelf, right?
Yeah.
Things like that on their lower receivers. So again, it's not like we haven't seen these types of actions taken before. And again, an easier part to play on this devil advocate part is, let's be real. How many of us, show of hands, actually planned on installing a Glock switch on your Glock? This Glock 5 series, V series, whatever the hell it is, um, most of them are. That's all there is to it. Like, I mean, I don't think any of us are gonna notice a single difference. As long as it still fits in the holster that you have, you'll
Yeah.
probably be happy. As long as it still can accompany all the accessories, all the aftermarket accessories that you already have, you might be pretty happy with that. I don't know about the internals. I assume they're going to be different, obviously, because of this Glock switch preventative. But as far as most things that people are concerned about, these Glock V series is probably going to be nothing more than just Glock Gen 6 unofficially.
Right. Until there's a
Yeah.
Glock V auto switch.
Which, I mean, let's be real. I mean, you've seen it like, I'm the same thing could be said. I mean, we saw it with, man, the auto key card,
Mhm.
right? And we've seen it with like the lightning switches or whatever they are. It's, again, so many people are going to find different ways to do what they want to do at the end of the day. You're not going to be able to stop free human will,
Right.
so I mean, you might be able to keep going and going and going, but at what point are you going to get to that, I guess, compromise of that, let's be real, Glock is known for the reliability. They go off when you actually want them to go off. Comment who you think I'm taking a jab at there. But but at the end of it all, it's like, man, I I, I don't I see Glock wanting to take care of and protect Glock at the end of the day. I can totally see that most of us are going to be like, oh, what the hell? Another company that's kowtowing to the anti gunners or whatever. But at the end of it all, it's kind of like, is it really that big of a deal? And I'm finding it hard to believe that, yeah, it kind of is. It's kind of like, yeah, it kind of sucks that they're being forced in a way to do this because California, being so pro gun that they are again putting into a corner a very large firearms manufacturer, to pretty much just oppress them, force their will
Right.
upon them, and then of course, which trickles down to us.
Yeah. And they're going to lose California. That is, they're going to lose that lawsuit against Glock. I mean, because it doesn't get more, I guess, common than a Glock pistol, right? It's in
Yeah,
common use. They're going to lose, but it's going to be what, 4, 5, 7 years before it gets to the Supreme Court, because California's in it for the long game. They know that, the process is the punishment, and Glock will lose a ton of money in California, and Californians will, be forced to bob and weave and get a gun that's on their roster now that
yeah,
you can't have these, cruciform trigger bars type firearms, which
Mm-hmm.
for those paying attention, it's not just Glock,
It's not just Glock. There's a
so there
lot, and
will
there's a
be
lot of
more.
Glock. Yeah, there's a lot of Glock clone manufacturers out there too.
Yeah, so there will be more, but I don't want people to think that Jared's out here sticking up for Glock. And Jared's still pissed at Glock for basically supporting gun control. They've wrote to many states, and one of my friends just happens to be in the Oklahoma city legislature, Oklahoma state legislature, sent me the letter that they sent him, saying, hey, you know what, if you want to put in any type of legislation for these machine gun conversion devices, we'll support it. So Jared blew that up, and Glock's probably pretty mad at Jared. So I'm not supporting what they're doing. I'm just saying that they made a business decision. We don't like it, but it's not, doesn't matter if we like it or not. Glock's going to do Glock, and if you're going to continue to support them, you still will. And if it changes your mind, you're not going to. It's just what we're presented with.
Yeah. Now, speaking of people being mad at Jared, what'd you do to make the DOJ mad at you, man?
Exposed their gaslighting and bullshit.
Oh, applaud.
Yeah, they go around telling everybody. In fact, the quote that they used that kind of set me off was that they had the balls to say that they were the most 2A friendly Department of Justice in the history of the nation, which is not a very high bar to obtain, and it's not something they should worry about even having rights to claim. But the day that they said that, they were in court supporting the NFA, defending the NFA.
Yeah.
So I made a video about it, called it out. And then the Assistant Attorney General, Harmeet Dillon herself, addressed me on Twitter. And then the next day she made a little video in front of her desk saying just how pro 2A they were and all the things that they've done. And while she was filming that video, guess what? In another case, the DOJ was in a federal courtroom defending the NFA. So I called them out again. I always say actions speak louder than words. And when it comes to the damn government, that's the only thing we should accept. I don't care how attractive a person might be who is in the government, whether it's an attorney general or not. My goal is to make everybody aware of what's actually happening. And apparently the DOJ doesn't like that. But oh well.
Oh, well. Yeah, that's absolutely right, man. No, I appreciate your courage and integrity there, because trying to call out the most pro 2A admin or DOJ in government, like you said, the bar's not set that high, guys. Like just doing anything that's just not doing anything that's anti 2A would actually make you very pro 2A if you're government, right?
Yeah.
Taking that leaps and bounds forward would actually be doing things like, I don't know, instead of just talking about it, how about signing into law what is it that we like to call it? Just reciprocating
reciprocity. Yeah.
Reciprocity, the concealed carry reciprocity. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's like, that would be huge.
Well, yeah. I mean, and part of the aftermath there, I got a few phone calls from my friends on the Hill, and I was made aware that Pam Bondi was very upset at the channel. Who cares? But it did lead to a couple of conversations where 2 days later you had, Kash Patel and Pam Bondi with Donald Trump talking about reciprocity, right? It wasn't happening before someone held their feet to the fire. But what they don't want to tell you is they're not going to get 60 votes in the Senate. So reciprocity is dead. It's not passing the Senate unless they tag it into some must pass, bill, which is what we want to get away from anyway. The pork barrel stuff needs to die, but we're probably got everything we're going to get. They told us they were going to go and shred all of the Biden gun control on the first week of his presidency, and we haven't seen any of that. They put a couple rules on hold, but the rules are still there, so the next guy can just re-trigger them. So I would rather them take some real action, instead of not appealing or dropping appeals of federal cases. See it through. Say, hey, you know what, your judge, your honor, or even the Supreme Court, this is an unconstitutional law and it shouldn't be enforced. Let's shred it. Do it the right way. That's all I ask. It's a little accountability. That's all.
Little accountability would be nice. I thought there was supposed to be like some sort of Second Amendment task force here that was supposed to roll back all the anti-2A legislation and was supposed to be looking at doing things to restore the Second Amendment. Is that not happening?
I mean, they've done, I'll give credit where credit's due. They've done a couple things. They have, but the big ticket issues that will affect everybody in great ways hasn't really been done yet. And then you have Doge, who went through the ATF, and they were supposed to present 25 different things to the president that they could do. One of the biggest ones that they want to do is change up the 4473 form. But you know, a lot of lip service, but I want action. You know, I love this country, and I think that any gun law that's out there is an infringement, and my goal is to get them removed. You know, that's what I want, and so I won't stop until people get sick of hearing me.
Yeah, which is great, dude. So yeah, thanks by the way. L level 1 F3. I'm currently working on a binary Glock 34 style build. You know, I have a feeling that would be a lot of fun. Glock 34s are a fun shoot, that's for sure. And then throwing a binary system on that from Franklin, I'm sure would be a little spicy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's see here. X marks the spot. Thank you for being a channel member. Thanks for the super chat. Let's hit that bust my builds goal. Yeah, I appreciate that, guys. Thank you. We had another super chat come in from my buddy Tanner. Nods, horses, tractor, chicken, CZ fund. What's up, Jared? Come help Minnesota out. It's a mess over here.
We're trying.
Oh, yeah, dude, we're trying to, man. I mean, when you exercise your voice to the point that the federal government is hearing and making even, like, I guess you'd say, responses to it. I mean, you know, you got to start somewhere, you know.
Well, you know, it's not a comfortable feeling either, you know.
Yeah, you know, there's one thing, you know, like I was at the very beginning of this live stream, I was talking about a super chat that I missed from ending the last live stream, and it was all about somebody that was afraid to get a suppressor because they didn't want the ATF just showing up at their door at any point in time. Because I think there's this idea that the ATF, like, you sacrifice your Fourth Amendment right when you purchase an NFA item.
Yeah.
And you know, to my knowledge, if somebody wants to inventory anything that you have, they're still going to have a warrant. Even if you do the paperwork, get approved for an NFA item, they're still going to have to come to your door with a warrant. And a warrant would mean that a judge would have to issue it. And then there would have to be some sort of probable cause as to why they're coming to your door. Am I wrong about that?
No, the end users, us, the citizens, we don't really have to worry about that. It's more of an FFL type thing. You know, if you're an FFL, they can come to your home and will come, well, wherever your place of your FFL is. You know, a lot of people have home-based ones. They can just come. They can come unannounced. They generally give you 1 or 2 days notice to make sure you're going to be there. That's more of an FFL type deal. That's why I don't have an FFL, because I don't want those SOBs anywhere near me.
Dude, so that's the one thing too. If you're watching this and you're thinking about maybe starting an FFL, something like that, because I thought, dude, it'd be so much easier with how much I'm doing now, like just getting my own FFL SOT. I would legitimately make the address though my horse stalls, right? Like, and then just like do like a bunker type thing where my safe and all my NFA items or all of my FFL items, I should say, would go out there, right? But you ultimately want to make sure that's not connected to your home, because then that's when they're like, oh, it looks like your house is your FFL. Don't mind if we do, come on in, type of thing, you know? Yeah. So make
Cartilage
sure
is the magic word.
Yes. So make sure it's separate from your dwelling space, right? If that's what you're looking to do. But also I found it to be easier just to partner with a local FFL and let them handle it.
Yeah. They're good at what they do already.
Yep. And then we've got Kryptonian over here. Thanks for the super chat. Legally Bondy. Oh goodness, man. I appreciate you guys and your humor over here. So yeah, dude, this entire thing with Glock though, getting back on the subject here. Is it at this point in time just being upset with a multi-billion-dollar company about something that's completely out of their control anyway? Well, I guess I can't say completely, because they're changing their entire platform so that way it's in their control to an extent. Is it just something that the gun community, who is so good at being like offended, honestly, at the end of the day, is it something that you think that we're overreacting to? Or do you think it's good that, like, okay, hey, yeah, we need to voice our concern, voice our anger, you know, like, I mean, just what are your thoughts overall, I guess is what I'm kind of asking. Like, do you think we're overwhelmed or looking at this too in-depthly, or yeah, no, we should be poking them and saying you're doing the wrong thing?
Yeah, I think you need to always let your voice be heard, man. Always, you know. But then realize that what we say it is not going to really affect the position that Glock takes. Like, we're not on the board of directors. They don't really care. You know, the only way to hit companies is hit them in the wallet, you know? So if you choose not to support them, then support another company that you think has your best interest at heart. You know, there are companies out there that are looking to listen to their, you know, end users. So, You know, if X, Y, or Z, Glock, Sig, whatever you name it, if they don't fit that bill, then move to somebody who does. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, we have to realize it is what it is, and we're not going to change it. If you look at Glock, look at the last 5-10 years of firearm pistols specifically. You have all these companies that are making changes to the pistol game. You have people who are moving to better triggers. Everybody changes a Glock trigger. Everybody, right? We all
Yeah.
complain that the trigger sucks, and now they're making a change to the trigger. Maybe it'll be a better trigger. Got to look at the sunny side too. Everybody does everything to a Glock. You usually buy a $600 Glock and you put $600 into it to make it more like things that are already out on the market. So maybe Glock's trying to make the gun better. Maybe they come out with a compensated Glock. Maybe they come out with a ported one. Who knows? But we've been bashing them too for their lack of perfection with their perfected devices. So,
or just even innovation. I mean,
yeah,
like I thought, like when you think 47, that's their answer to modularity,
right. Yeah.
and it's like, wait a minute now. I feel like Ruger, who's making essentially a Gen 3 clone that's actually modular with the RXM, is doing a better job with Glock modularity.
Right. Yeah. And then like years ago, I stopped shooting like stock Glocks and I went with Zev Tech. And Zev Tech makes a great not Glock, and there are companies that are out there doing it as good or maybe even better, depending on what your personal preference is. So support those that are more best in line with what you want from your manufacturers.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest takeaway here. And just to kind of, show the dichotomy or the difference here. So we've got Gap Mage. I think I see what you did there. Not mad Glock got bent over. Okay. And then we've got Van saying boycott Glock. This is the difference here, right? General Grant is saying, nah, I'm fine. Get it. Totally get that. Crunchy Taco again, thank you, man, is just a copycat way to drive down Glock prices similar to the 320s. That's a question. I mean, I feel like at this point, I think a lot of people are going to be looking at like, oh, I got a Gen 3, I got a Gen 4. I'm going to take that and say, I've got a $1,500 OG Glock. Don't argue with me, boy. I know what I got type of thing.
I'm sure it's already happening, man. I'm sure it's already happening. But I mean, look, you got like the Palmetto Dagger. You can get 3 of those for one Gen 5, Gen 4 Glock. So there are companies that are out there making the product very, very similar. In fact, it is a 3 patent pretty much, and they can do it for a third of the price. So there's people out there that are innovating with older designs, if you will.
Yeah. We've got Blue over here just saying Walther, baby. I feel you. Let's see. We've got Chinese supremacy. Stiger's literally going to kick open the door of lawsuits against gun manufacturers because they refuse to stand behind or in front or anywhere near their product 320.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
It's another company that's probably mad at me.
Man, sometimes you got to call them out, right? And that's what you're doing. So that's all there is to it. Let's see. The American, no matter what happens, there are thousands of previous Gen Glocks out there. Autos will continue to be made. It's almost like, again, how many times we got to say it, that the criminals don't care, man. And you're right. And thousands of previous Gen Glocks.
Millions.
Easily millions. I mean, dude, when I was working at Classic alone, the law enforcement trade-ins, the Gen 3s that would come in, we would get sometimes even Gen 4s come in, right? Things like that of law enforcement trade-ins by the crate.
Yeah.
$300 out the door kind of thing, and it's just like, bruh.
And only had like 50 rounds through them. That's the best.
Some of them, some of them you could tell that some of them were gun guys, right? They were putting grip tape on the grips, and they were, they replaced the light or the sights and stuff like that, and a lot of them though were just factory. You could tell that they shot them once a year to qualify, and that was that.
Yep.
You're essentially getting a brand new Gen 3 or Gen 4, and then that was that there. Let's see here. Salty C TV is saying that Glock has been way behind the times. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's almost like, dude, why mess with anything that honestly has been working so reliably and accurately for years and years and years? Now, granted, you can do an improvement on ergonomics and things. Again, Glock innovation with their modularity, something that they could definitely improve on. But, it's rough out there for these guys. Jake, thanks for being a monthly member. Thanks for the super chat. Glock and Sig are losing face quickly. Hi, Jared.
Hey, Jake.
And Jake's another longtime viewer and everything. Appreciate all your support, bro. And obviously he's a fan of boxers. He's got some cute doggos there. But Jake, no, yeah, man, it's rough out there, dude. Now, one thing I will say though, you can talk as much crap as you want about Sig. I'm never giving up my 226. I love my 226s.
No, the hammer fire great. Hammer fire guns are phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody always jumps on me anytime we do a video about what's going on with SIG in the courtrooms, but in my safe right here, I can't show it to live stream. I have 5 very high end 320s, like extremely high end ones that, you know what, they're not worth as much as this plastic bottle. You can't even give them away. So,
dude, it is funny. I go to Monadnock. I'm always there. I'm looking at their Blue Label Glocks, which they have a Gen 5 right now for $495, Blue Label. And I'm like, I think after this week, I'm like, hey, Rob, I need that. And then it's funny too, for those of you that don't know, Blue Label is like the military and law enforcement discount line through Glock that you can get through your FFL, which is pretty cool that they offer that. $495 for a brand new Gen 5 Glock 45. And on top of that, I saw a brand new Gen 5 Glock 45 that's not a Blue Label that was like another $100, $200. It's something like that. I'm like, wow, the Blue Label is a huge deal. So if you guys are law enforcement, you are military, you are looking to hop on the bandwagon and get a old Glock, feel free to check that out. 100%. Artemis, for those of you that don't know, Artemis here is she's what I'd like to say a beautiful woman. She is she's my wife, so Jared, this is Kels.
Hey Kels, how's it going?
And Jared and Kels have been talking for a little bit. We got some cool things planned and coming up, so you guys stay tuned for that. But no, I kind of blew that secret for a while because I feel like some people thought there was going to be like something spicy going on between me and a viewer, and it's like, well, that spice has already happened, guys. We got 2 kids and everything. So, so this is Artemis. This is Kels. Glocks being more valuable than Beanie Babies wasn't on my bingo card for 2025. And she still makes me laugh. Oh man. So yeah, no, there are actually some like collectible Beanie Babies out there. I don't know that. I am assuming because I have seen some things like, dude. Yeah, I mean,
go to a wide angle. Let's see what's in there.
You can't.
Got the Princess Di one in there.
All right, here's my hold up displays. I'm just gonna go throw it out there. What you see on camera is all guns and stuff. Okay, off to the sides, there's some Furbies. All right. But no, okay, all right. So let's get back over here. She also waved, saying hi. Let's see here. Artemis, let's see. Aldo is wanting to know, Artists, are they more valuable than the Labubus? Oh, jeez. Where is the stream going? Oh, God. Let's see here. Tyler shoots my 2 320s go off more than my wife, and I'm not even married. Jared, welcome to the live streams, bro. This is
my kind of crowd.
Dude, it's almost like just memes come to life here, I've seen my buddy, you'll like him, Jessica Simp 44. You can tell he's a fan of Jessica Simpson. He comes in with some pretty good takes on occasion too. And Gary, I've got an AXG Legion 365 also, and I think it's a great gun. I
got a couple 365s too, man. And
Yep. It's hard to say no to some of these things, man.
But even like the 365, you remember when they came out, they were an issue first. They had that the drag issue with the firing pin. So I don't know. Every company inherently has manufacturing issues that can pop up, and when they do, sometimes companies fix them faster than others.
It's funny though, and I think you might agree with this, that a few companies out there might use the end user as their final evaluation.
Say,
and it's like, dude, it's such a shame. Like, you would think, especially on all right, dare I say it? If we were to find out High Point wasn't actually testing their products before they sent them to the consumer, it'd be kind of like $130. What do you expect?
Right. Yeah.
$1,300, however, $15,000, even $500, and you get a product that might not even be safe. It's hugely not. It's not questionable. It's concerning, right? Yeah. It's like, man, okay. And having been to the SIG facility myself, I will say it's state of the art. It is. I've seen them test their firearms and everything else. It is kind of like what happened. I mean, the machines there are incredible,
Yep.
dude. A lot of it we couldn't get on camera, but it's these things. I'm wondering now if they wouldn't let us get it on camera because it was just for show. No, I'm just kidding. But just looking at just the attention to detail. It's almost surprising if anything goes out the door that's got an issue, you know? Um, and so at first it's kind of like, okay, I think this is being blown up to be like an exaggeration of an issue. And then I think the final nail in the coffin was the multiple nails in the coffin was them kind of gaslighting the public. No, your holster has a problem. You have a problem. The gun doesn't
Yep.
have a problem. The gun goes off when you intend for it to go off. By the way, you need to carry without one in the chamber. Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah. That was
That's
the eye
when
opener. Yeah.
that's when we started having the issues. That's when we started questioning things. And I don't know how the stream about Glock started talking about SIG, but you can, but you see, man, like you got to hold some of these companies accountable, right? And so so that's that. But no, in this case with Glock switches something like you said that Glock doesn't even actually make. Um, Again, I personally don't even know if there are actually Glock manufactured aftermarket switches. I don't think there are. I don't think that there's anything. I think they just made the Glock 18 and that was your full auto Glock.
Right.
That was from the manufacturer. That's what you got. It was just like binary triggers, FRTs, things like this that have actually been approved by the ATF. And I believe that Glock switches, if you legally obtain one, that's good. But if you're again circumventing the law, you're going through, you're finding ways again, criminal action of circumventing the Gun Control Act, the Hughes Amendment, the NFA, all these other anti-gun laws, and you're still somehow able to break said law and throw this device on your gun and then make it an illegal, again breaking the law, machine gun. And then let's say you were to use that illegally, man, it's almost like another law wouldn't work. But again, I feel like we're getting repetitive here.
We keep trying though.
Yeah. Keep trying. Maybe one day it'll work, like discharging a firearm within city limits. You shouldn't do that, but how's that working out for Chicago?
Yeah, right.
Murder, assault with a deadly weapon, all those things I think are already crimes. Well, what are you going to do about it, man? But yeah, anyway, okay, cool. So forget Glock, get the Mag Dump Mark 18. Greg knows what's up, dude. It's right there behind me. Still available. Yep, still available. By the way, for those of you that don't know, I don't know if I actually publicly said it or not. It will be available for the rest of the year. So
Awesome. That's cool.
Yep, December 31st. That'll be the cutoff, guys. So get it or don't. You don't have to get it, but you should, because who doesn't want a Mark 18, especially that one, So there you go.
Well, that one's an SBR. That's an even better version.
It's an even better version. That's right. Yep. So SBRs are coming soon also. But at the same time, like I totally getting a pistol brace version. I mean, that's a majority of what people are going to get. They're going to get a pistol brace, a pistol, and a Mark 18 pistol. And then you're probably going to wait until the tax stamp is free, which again, there's a whole other can of worms. Thank you, GOA, again, for the big, beautiful lawsuit. Because we're not supposed to have a registration in this country, a firearms registration.
Right.
Yeah. So that's not. Anyway, we'll get into more of that here in just a little bit. But most of you will probably be waiting to file your Form 4 and get an SBRing like I did my Mark 18 pistol, now an SBR. So if you are planning on doing that, cool. Go for it, man. Go for it. The Barefooted Gardener. I like practicing with a shitty trigger, so I appreciate guns with nicer triggers. Here's to your quad nods, fun. What's up, Jared?
What's going on, man?
Appreciate the Barefoot Gardener. Thank you, Gary, for the super sticker. Appreciate that. We got Tanner again. My Bull EDC Pro Compact should be here this week. Honest thoughts on that choice. If you're asking, if you're asking the audience, they'll give you theirs, of course. But between Jared and myself, Jared, what do you think about Bull Armory? What do you think about the EDC Pro?
Brother, I have gone heavy into the 2011 game in the last 2 years here. And I have my staccatos. I love my staccatos, but I love Bull Armory just a little bit more because quality is on par, if not better, but the price is cheaper. The Bull Armory, I like, if they see this, like the folks, my friends over at Bull Armory know I am patiently, and I'm not a patient man, patiently waiting for that TAC Pro.
Comp? The TAC Pro Comp?
The TAC Comp, yeah. Like,
yeah, me too.
Dude, that thing, when we shot that at when they had the prototype at GunCon a couple years ago, I tried to make a stupid offer to buy the prototype. Like I was like, I will pay you large dollars to take this home. But
Dude,
great gun. When you guys see that come to market, it is going to be the 2011 that 2011's dream to be.
damn. Yep. Now, just to throw it out there, Bull Armory, I have been working, I'm not, I say working with. So I've got the Blaze as my competition set up. I gave them some feedback about like the thumb rest, things like that to make it a little bit more. And they're actually making, I think now their own thumb rest. So that way it's easier for people out there to get their set up and everything. So I know a couple of you commented about like, where'd you get your thumb rest? Well, that was actually a modified one that I worked on with Bull Armory to make it work. And now they're like, okay, this is too complicated. If you're having issues with it, that means our end users are going to have issues with it. We're going to make our own. And I'm like, that's the kind of feedback we're talking about here. Yeah. These guys are doing that, and their attention to detail is insane. I mean, just even on the grip screws themselves, they're texturized, things like that, right? Just anywhere that you might be having contact with the firearm, they want to make sure it's not just rough metal. They want to make sure it's not just smooth metal that you might just slip over. Just the attention to detail, dude. I mean, I've been very impressed with Bull.
They listen to feedback. When we were playing with that prototype, we made a couple suggestions, and they put the suggestions into the final model. So it was pretty impressive to see a company who didn't have to listen to us, want to make the gun that much better than it already was. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Now I would like to, for the channel, dude, okay. All right. Maybe I'll come to you since you don't want to come up to New England anymore. I mean, dude, our best months are ahead of us, right, dude? I mean, I should expect my first snowfall in like 30 minutes. So, so I would love to do a Staccato versus Bull comparison.
Okay.
Now if I'm being honest, as an American, I'm going to be a little bit more biased towards Team USC, even though I have no experience with Staccato. I still want Staccato to be like, look, Team USA, it's made in America. That's who I'm for. You know what I mean? But I've been shooting Bull, and I've got the TAC Pro and the standard TAC, and that means ports versus non-ports. For those of you that don't know, exact same gun. One's ported, one's not. And dude, I will tell you right now that TAC Pro is one of the softest shooting handguns I've ever shot, and it's like cheating, dude. I mean, just to run, I mean, I've got an armor on both just for the sake of consistency, and the exact same model, everything, and same holster obviously that I run through, same Surefire X300, and it's just like, dude, staying on target. I mean, it's already easy enough with the TAC, and then with those ports on the Pro, it's just like so flat shooting, blows my mind. And now incorporating that with the compensator, that thing's going to be ridiculous, dude. My question is going to be reliability. That's going to be the biggest thing,
Well, I mean, if they've put a couple of years into it, like I have the TAC Pro 5-inch. I love it. I love it. But cool. My favorite 2011 platform firearm is my XC. My Staccato XC is, I mean, I shoot the hell out of that gun. I love it. And it has been very, very, very reliable. I don't even clean it after 250 rounds like the manual says. So, it's like it is a cheat code, especially if you know how to handle a gun. You are faster, more accurate. The trigger is phenomenal. It's just a great gun. Staccato, you can send me some stuff now for blowing it up for you, but great guns, man. They do make great stuff. I think I hope my wife's not watching anymore. I think I have 4 or 5 Staccatos right now. So it's been an investment.
I've said this a couple of times. Going into debt is bad. Going into debt for firearms is American. All right. Just
true. Yeah. Well, okay. I'm very American then.
Oh man. So Tanner, coming from Jared and myself, I think you're safe. I think you should feel very comfortable carrying your Bull now. Yeah. For a defensive firearm. I carry my ultralight. I legitimately switch between my 365 AXG Legion, and I find myself tucking that Bull Armory ultralight more and more into my appendix, because that's where I carry. And it's comfortable, it feels good, and man, it's easy to stay on target with that gun. So yeah, feel good, Tanner, feel good. All right. Let's see here. We've got El Ulmer. I came here for great financial real estate investment advice for Minecraft. Brother, I think you're at the wrong stream. But thank you for your super chat. I appreciate that.
Build big.
Build big. Oh man, that's too good. Family friendly advice, of course, he says. That's funny. Gun debt is badass, Aldo says. I really want to get my hands on that new Dragon pistol, cool sci-fi pistol. I don't even know what that is. Dragon pistol? You got a link or a model, Sarita? That would be good to
Is that
have,
the one
dude.
that's kind of like the alien?
I have no idea. So, Tanner, going back to your comment, Jared says you're supposed to clean your guns.
2011's yes. 1911's yes. Yeah.
Dude, so I put 1,000 rounds and now I'm probably close to 2,000 rounds in my tack. And nope, that's a lie. I'm using it as my nightstand gun. And after the 1,000 round review, I brought it back and I cleaned it. It's the Tac Pro I've been running now that I'm probably at closer to 1,500 in. And I did tell Ruger though, because I've been running the piss out of their RXM. I've got their RXM and the tactical.
Hmm.
And dude, I have been really impressed with that. Talking about Glock clones, something that's actually modular. I'm waiting for Magpul to release the and Ruger to release the full size frame, and I guess I can't call it a frame, grip module.
Grip module, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm really excited about that. But I told Ruger, I was like, gun is on its way to being my first 5,000 review, which I'm pretty excited about because I don't plan on doing much maintenance whatsoever. I'm going to run it. I haven't lubricated it or anything. I'm well past 1,000 now, but I'll have to literally count my empty boxes. I've been taking them and it's like, all right, here's an empty box, throw it into a bag. And then I'm going to have to go and dump them out and be like, all right, 50, 100, 150, 200. But anyway, so I've been really impressed with the RXM recently, especially for the price point and everything that it's coming with. So that's
Yeah.
pretty exciting. So you're supposed to clean your guns. I mean,
Yeah.
the guns that I would rely on for my family, my everyday carry, it'll shoot, but if my family's with me, I'm gonna be grabbing the gun that's clean, ready to go. That's
Well, if
that's my mindset.
and you know this, I mean, if you shoot your guns a lot, your gun talks to you. You just need to know how to listen. Like with the 2011s, I can feel my slides slow down on my staccatos, and that tells me it's time to throw a couple drops of oil on this bad Larry, or wipe down some carbon. But your gun talks to you, man. You just got to listen.
Dude, I love that. I don't know why I've never really considered like saying that before. Thanks, I'm gonna steal that. Your gun definitely talks to you. You can feel just when the slide starts to get gritty. You can feel that type of stuff. Even just the
Yeah.
mag insertion. Like, oh man, okay, it's time for you to. Yeah, if you're, like with my OG Mark 18, that one, I used to shoot so much that when my mag stopped dropping free, I was like, there's some buildup in there. Time to do that for sure. But yeah, so ride out Arsenal Dragon.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yep, check that guy out.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the one I was thinking.
ride out Arsenal Dragon. I have not
It's
looked
just like
that
the
one up.
alien, but it's very different.
What's the difference in price point?
They're on par. The Dragon's $5,200.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah,
So
some more super
yeah,
chats.
I'm gonna need a lot more super chats. That's an interesting looking guy.
Yeah, look at it from the barrel, like from the muzzle.
Let's see if I find that image. Goodness. Yeah, if you guys are looking there, we dropped obviously what it is in the chat, and that is a very strange looking pistol. Uh, slim. It's I want to shoot it. You know, I want to shoot it.
It's different.
So it's definitely different, dude. Definitely different. Let's see here. X marks the spot. Clint is a Sigger. I mean, Siga mass super chats. Dude. You know, you guys, y'all gotta chill sometimes, all right? Oh goodness, man. Let's see here. Gerald Bonachita. It would have been cool if destructive devices had zero tax as well. It'd be really cool is if Gun Control Act, the NFA, and all these things actually didn't exist anymore. Never
Yeah.
existed to begin with.
Or if the DOJ didn't still defend it in court, that'd be wicked cool.
That'd be wicked cool. Yeah. Oh gosh. Now, what's the thing you guys say in New England? Wicked pissa.
Wicked pissa.
What is a wicked pissa?
It's like totally awesome.
Totally awesome. Wicked.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've been living up here for now almost 3 years, and I actually haven't heard that once
You
from a native.
got to get out of the barn, man.
Literally. I guess so. I guess so, man. Let's see here. Sarita, I won't be surprised I stopped making our guns sci-fi guns now, like that video game called Cyberpunk. I won't be surprised at making our guns like that. Yeah, I mean, that's there's definitely been takes on video games and making those video game guns into real life. The crossover between video games and guns are always really cool. I think actually our one of our first videos at Classic that hit 1 million. One of the first ones was actually a home defense one. The one that broke 2 million, which I think they actually since removed because YouTube is YouTube, was like top 10 guns from Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love watching mag dumps of 50 cals? And so we were definitely doing that. And yeah, so I actually really appreciate the crossover there, especially if you're getting different generations, younger generations more excited about Second Amendment and firearms in general. That usually means they're actually learning about them.
Right.
And if they're learning about firearms, hopefully that also means that's translating into firearms safety, and just that's great. That's what this nation needs.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Wicked Pissa, JC is saying, totally get that. They haven't sued clone companies yet, have they? Well, that's just it. Um, yeah. So be careful. But according to that one article from the Sun or Desert Sun or whatever it was that I was reading, it was saying that. Let me go back. Where was that? I'm looking for it. It was saying that Glock and other manufacturers that use a cruciform trigger bar. That's the biggest thing that's in quotations right there. It's not just Glock, it's Glock and other manufacturers that use a cruciform trigger bar.
Yeah, California wrote that into the into the legislation. So cruciform trigger bar is in the legislation. So if a gun has that, then California can then deem it an easily convertible machine pistol, which is something they came up with, and thus ban that. So it's going to be an interesting couple weeks, months here with California, Gavin Newsom going even crazier than he has.
Yeah. I think it's funny too that on the Sean Ryan show, didn't he gift Gavin Newsom a SIG pistol?
Yeah, he couldn't take it, but he did gift him one, which is crazy. He should have went after him. I mean, Sean Ryan.
Yeah, ironically, I think he tried to give them a 365, right?
Yeah.
There would have been a lot. I mean, I feel like there was a missed opportunity there to try to gift him a 320. I feel like
oh, sorry.
Yeah, just all of the memes that could have taken place and everything. Granted, he probably even knew that and just wanted to steer clear of that. You know what I mean? Obviously not advocating for violence here, but I'm just saying the meme value alone would have been hilarious, right? But at the same time, in defense of SIG, I have run 320s a lot. I've got my own custom shop 320, and dude, I've even, and it's still on the internet. It's still on YouTube. When I took a course with Chris Tonto Peranto, you guys know him from 13 Hours and things like that, but the real Chris, the real Tonto, I was out at Fort Scott Munitions and I was running a course and I was in a competition. You were there, right? Yeah, you were there, dude. You saw that. You witnessed my 320 fall out of my holster because I had a holster for an FNX 45 because, I was just doing what I could at the moment. And I forgot to shut the cover, which was keeping the pistol where it belonged the entire time. And you were there, dude. You saw it hit the ground. And there definitely were jokes made even at that point in time. And that was years ago.
Yeah, man.
Years ago. And it's like, oh, what kind of gun is that? A 320? Oh, man, we're all lucky to be alive. Hank Strange was there. Wait, you hurt yourself. You pulled a hammy.
I tore my hamstring in that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
When we had a little competition there after day one.
Yeah, man. So yeah, we were going in hard on that one, dude. And that's when I first met Matt Patterson with GOA, who's now like a brother of mine. And dude, that was a great shoot, man. That was a lot of fun. Yep. So
Guns Out boys were there. That was fun.
Yeah, that's when I really got to meet those guys and hang out with them as well. John Keys again from Guns Out TV, and they're doing We the Free TV and everything, man. Y'all check that stuff out, dude. They're doing great work. Love those guys too, man. But yeah, no, dude, I I've been running the 320. I mean, if I am being transparent and honest, I haven't run it this year.
No comment.
Man. Yeah. That's all there is to it. Crunchy Taco, Gavin would have been too terrified to pack any heat. You know, I, I've said this before too, man, and a lot of the anti-gunners will say a lot of anti-gun things, the darndest things. And it's like, look, dude, they're not as dangerous as you think they are. Like let's actually go to the range together, right? Let's go to the range and let's show you that in the hands of a goodwill and a good intended person, you have a useful tool. You don't have this detrimental device that's out there just to kill people. At the end of the day, I look at it, and what I've said before when I was talking with Stephen Williford, Aaron Suzo, Rob Young, I had them on a stream, bro, and actually that was with the podcast. And I straight up told him, like, I carry a gun because I love my family, I love the life that I have, I love my fellow good-willed countrymen and women, and because there's only two, and I want to protect them. That's why I carry a gun, right? I don't carry a gun because I'm looking to do harm unto others. I carry a gun because I'm wanting to prevent those that are looking to do harm unto others. If that ever faces me, and if the I guess you say the situation ever presents itself that actually makes me an asset and not a liability. Because if I only have my Bull Armory Ultralight and there's a situation taking place 200 yards that way, I'm not going to engage.
Right.
I'm going to get my family and everybody around me that makes sense. Hey, let's go the opposite direction. That's unsafe. That doesn't look comfortable. Let's go that way. So that's the biggest thing when it comes to firearms, is that a lot of people think that they're a tool only made for killing. And I think what people need to start doing is waking up and realizing that firearms are preserving life more times than they are taking life. And what that means is that it's hard to actually obtain hard numbers about the amount of lives that a firearm is used to save lives. Think about it.
Yeah.
In a situation where somebody might be in a mass casualty situation, just like with Stephen Williford, right? He ran into a church, killed, or he didn't kill it right away, but he engaged somebody that was actively killing churchgoers. I think there were multiple people already victims, whether they were deceased or injured or died later, multiple victims already. And the moment he bust through those doors and engaged the shooter, all of a sudden, all that attention went focused on Stephen, and he was able to, let's just say, effectively engage this threat. It is unknown how many people that day he saved.
Right.
It's hard to quantify. He was barefoot on top of that. He said he was lucky to have pants on.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to think about, like, how many people did he save? That guy, the guy that engaged the shooter at the mall, and neither one of them were supposed to have guns. But the guy that engaged at a decent distance, by the way, with his broken sight on his Glock,
right.
He stopped that threat. And it's like, how many lives did he save? How many rounds were left in that guy's gun? I don't know. Was he going to reload? Right? Every projectile could have been another life, but instead one projectile claimed one life that saved God knows how many others.
Right. Yep.
Right. It's all about the user of the tool, not the tool.
Yeah. Heroes.
Right. Exactly, man. And that's the conversation that really needs to be had and said. And I mean, you can find these again, the Pew Research Center, so many others that put out these different statistics, and you can find, like, even on anti-gun sites, it's like, oh, there are no statistics, and then find you like really pro-gun sites that say upwards of 3 million lives a year are saved, and it's kind of like, okay, that can be far-fetched, hard to believe even, but then when you think about, like, man, how quantifiable is it? How many times a day do you hear about somebody doing something terrible, and then law enforcement shows up with what guns to stop a bad guy with what a gun? Yeah. So, like, how many lives did they just save? Yeah. It's almost like on the daily, I would find it very easy to believe that daily there's thousands of lives saved by individuals, goodwill, good people showing up with firearms. Sometimes probably even Glock, probably a lot of times actually Glock, and doing good with it,
Yeah, man. I just did a video about a week, 10 days ago now. I mean, everything kind of blurs together, but a week ago, on how the FBI is still purposely misrepresenting those exact numbers. And I utilized Dr. John Lott's statistics. He went back and looked at everything, like not just what the FBI collects, but he went to newspaper reports, police reports, media coverage, and realized, the FBI says it's a very small percentage of good guys stopping, mass casualty incidents, but it's actually like 30+%. And if you take out a gun-free zone, it's up to 67%, I think, off the top of my head. So we're out there doing the right thing. And there are certain factions out there that don't want that credit to be known because it would stop what their end goal is. So, keep doing, you guys and gals, be the sentinels for liberty, be the ones who are keeping the republic what it is, because it's on us. It's we the people. It's not them, the government.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, man. And so, that's a great message and something y'all need to look, be vocal. I said this after Charlie Kirk was assassinated as well, and how that affected all of us so deeply, because I think a lot of us felt as if that was an attack directly on us. Because, I mean, hell, even Brandon Herrera has been tweeting about it. Like, he was the moderate at the end of the day. Like, you guys killed him. I say you guys, y'all know what I'm saying, but he was killed for his beliefs, in which I thought, you could be a little bit more conservative on that take, right? It's almost like, wow, am I an extremist? And the funny thing is like, no, I just think I'm an American at the day. I really appreciate Charlie Kirk, what his mission was and how he went about doing it. And then what really blew my mind away was how many people were taking things that he said. Again, I can say out of context, because that's exactly what it was. But I at first I didn't believe it, Jared. Like, I didn't believe how manipulative a lot of these different influencers like you and me, just with our YouTube channels, just talking about this stuff. And they were like, oh yeah, he was racist. He was yelling at an Asian guy and calling him a chink. And it's like, no, actually what he was saying was Chink Uyghur, the guy's name, right? Like, it was crazy to witness that and to hear it. And it's like, no, he was saying Chink Uyghur, the owner, the founder of the Young Turks. These guys have been beefing for years. I couldn't believe it, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the negativity you see about not just Charlie, but anybody that's out there being spewed by the left, it's all stuff, snippets taken out of context. Most people, if they sat down and watched, 3 to 5 videos of Charlie Kirk, it would probably change the stereotypes they believe. Right. Charlie was somebody who just wanted to have conversations with people in subject matters that most people are uncomfortable talking about. And, you got to give him credit for that.
Yeah, man, it's wild, dude. It's absolutely wild. And, so my point is you guys need to be vocal. Don't be afraid to pick up that microphone. Don't be afraid to get out there and say, hey, that's wrong. What are you talking about? Like, gun deaths, the gun deaths don't exist. Murders, violence in general. It's not just gun violence. It's violence committed with firearms, right? Like, I mean, we don't hear about like vehicle, like when you think vehicle deaths, oh man, you think like accidents and stuff like that. You know how many people are actually run over every year for intent? Like, yeah. Dude, it's insane to think about. Hammers, fists, all these other things,
sugar,
these inanimate objects. Sugar,
processed food. You don't hear food deaths.
Yeah. No, you hear heart disease.
Yeah. Well, you don't even hear it anymore. It's like it's everybody else's fault, but the individuals now.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's insane, man. It's just wild to think about. But what are you gonna do? X marks the spot. Does Jared have veneers or just naturally sick AF?
A lot of time and effort, man. A lot of time and effort. Braces when I was younger, doing what I need to do.
Doing what you need to do, man. Oh, that's too funny. Oh, goodness gracious. This is Glock's version of the Smith & Wesson Hillary hole. Interesting. I mean, I guess you could say that. Hey, Jared, how much longer do people have to invest in Blackout Coffee? Oh,
top of my head, I'm not sure the end date of the campaign, but I would say it's probably better to do it sooner than later because the clock is ticking.
So I invested because I'm like, all right, well, they're doing good stuff. Yeah, of course I did. Yeah, I did that. I think when it first opened up, which was a while ago now, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. And I got to tell you, I might have a couple of cases of Blackout that's going to be, I guess you could say Blackout Coffee unofficially sponsored my next coffee with Clint. So thank you. But I've got a bunch of cases that I picked up. And so you guys stay tuned because the next coffee with Clint, you guys are going to be trying some of the blueberry coffee that you guys have. But I'm just a fan of the OG. I love it. It tastes so good, and it is refreshing,
Dude,
especially when we were at Goals.
it's pretty cool. Like we're talking about this campaign, like Mr. Wonderful of Shark Tank fame.
Mm.
We actually got to have a meeting with him, John, my partner, and he couldn't find a hole in the business model, which was friggin' awesome. Like some of the things he said was music to our ears. So if Kevin O'Leary approves, Mr. Wonderful approves, I think we're doing okay.
Yeah, yeah. And Adnock Shootist, he's up here with me as well. He's wanting to know, where can he invest?
Go to blackoutcoffee.com and it's right on the website.
There you go. Easy enough. And let's see here, fully automatic cheeseburgers. That's that's what we're talking about. That's good. Oh goodness gracious. You guys
Full
are
semi-automatic cheeseburgers.
full semi-automatic. That's exactly it, man. Oh goodness, man. Well, you guys are absolutely ridiculous. I love you all, and I think we can go ahead and start wrapping it up there, guys. It's been just about an hour and 10 minutes or so, and Adnock Shooters responded, "Will do." So that's great. If you guys want to get any last questions in, feel free to do so. Jared and I think we're just going to have probably a quick little just recap of everything. As you guys know, this live stream, as most of my live streams do, if there is a theme, we talk about the theme for 5-10 minutes, and then it just goes into the chat, and we have a great time there, obviously. But with what's happening right now with Glock is showing that there's a lot of different judges, judicial systems, politicians that are looking to dismantle the Second Amendment in any way possible. Mm-hmm. That includes even going after the gun manufacturers themselves. And this is nothing new. Daniel Defense has been sued, right? I mean, they were sued for what, the Sandy Hook?
Yep.
Is it? Yeah.
No. Is it Sandy?
Or Uvalde?
Uvalde. Sandy Hook was Bushmaster Remington, I believe. I don't know. They all run together, dude.
It's the
same
terrible.
MO, just over and over.
Right. And there's a couple of points here, man. There's obviously issues with mental health in this country. There's a huge degradation in society due to just a lack of respect and caring for one another, a lack of love at the end of the day. Not to sound like a hippie here, but I talk about already carrying a gun out of love. If we had love for our neighbors, love for ourselves, loves in Jesus, then I think that we would actually see an incline in our society, like in a good way, in a positive manner. So you guys get out there, talk to one another, get involved with your communities. And if you are facing hardship, you're going through mental health stuff, 988, that's the suicide hotline. Don't feel as if you're a weak individual for dialing that number. Mm-hmm. People are looking to help, things like that. I wear the "I got your six" tattoo because I want to put myself out there. I can't get to all of my DMs, but if you guys are going through anything, feel free, just like, hey man, life sucks right now. What do you do to take your mind off of stuff? Right. I mentioned in a more recent live stream too, for the first time, I've been, a majority of my life, I was going to church and listening to other people, different denominations even, but I've always been Catholic. And for the first time in my life, I'm not actually listening to somebody else tell me what's in the Bible. I'm reading it for myself. I'm on Deuteronomy, got through Numbers, listening to, or reading about, the Levites had this many and this many and this many. And it's like, man, it can be a hard read sometimes, guys, but there's so many good messages, of course, even in the Old Testament. So get through that. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And like I said, guys, the issue with society is now I think we're losing a lot of respect for not only one another, but for ourselves.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to ask for help. And then on top of that, don't be afraid to put these politicians in their place as well, especially even though it might feel as if it's nuanced and an illusion. Go to the polls, vote, get out there and vote. Try to send the message any way you possibly can. That includes, like I said before, too, picking up the microphone, getting it, chatting up here, sending up something, that's a great message from Country Bear Session. Stay strapped or get clapped, Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Jared, before we sign off, man, for anybody on my channel that doesn't know where to find you, where can they find Guns and Gadgets?
Main spot is YouTube, but I'm on all the socials. I try to put out at least a video once a day, twice a day during the week, once a day on the weekend, because there's just that many attacks on our God-given right to keep and bear arms. There are activists everywhere, including in courtrooms, that just want to take away what they can't give to us. We got it from one person who is no longer with us, but it was pre-existing this country, and it will keep going as long as patriots like us keep it going.
Yeah, Yeah, that's great, man. Love to hear it, dude. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, man. I really appreciate that for coming here, checking out the chat too, as it always goes crazy. And Aldo, that's a great message too. God bless. Christ is King. You're absolutely right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And right underneath that, tar and feather, dude. Let's make it public for when these tyrants speak and they want to do tyrannical things. We might not be able to physically tar and feather them now because I think that's like assault and battery, but but we can definitely put their message out on display for all to hear, and your message should be quick to follow. Let them know, speak to them through the polls as well, as I've already mentioned. And like I said in the last live stream, guys, like it feels like it's just might not even be worth it. Seems like you might always just be voting for the same thing. Get out there anyway. Get out there anyway. What do you got to lose? 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it might take. For some people, I get that it's a bigger stretch. For others, whenever that election time comes, it's like, man, that's going to be an entire lunch hour or a couple hours out of my day, and I can't take that time off of work.
Yep.
I totally get it. But hopefully you can even speak with your employer and just let them know. It's like, hey, I want to do this, and I want to exercise my right to vote. And you're preventing me from doing it. Just say it just like that. Maybe you'll still have a job after, but
yeah.
Oh man. All right, Jared. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you again, live stream. Thank you again, chat. I appreciate every last one of you guys. God bless you all, and we will see you next time. Jared, thanks again, brother.
Thanks, brother. Anytime.
See ya.